All right, staying in the AFC West, we get the Los Angeles Chargers. Trevor going with an A- here for the Chargers. A lot of turnover at receiver. We got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen out. Had to make those moves because, the Chargers had the other LA version of stars and scrubs. They had a whole bunch of $20 million type of players. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, the two receivers I just mentioned, had to get out from a couple of those contracts, go into the draft with one of the worst receiver rooms in the NFL. They come out of it with Ladd McConkey, but also solidified that offensive line with Joe Alt in the first round. Big-time transition year here for the Chargers.
Yeah, and I think, so we didn't mention this with the Raiders, but we're going to bring it up for the Chargers. Like, part of their offseason is Jim Harbaugh, right? They snagged one of the biggest fish in the entire offseason pool in terms of front office, coaching, all those kinds of things. The Raiders, I think they made the right call in Antonio Pierce. Like, I think that roster would have revolted, would have rebelled if they hadn't given Antonio Pierce the job after what he did towards the end of last season. So I think that was the right move for them. The Chargers, they got Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he was the big fish in this coaching pool. I think the guy a lot of people would have wanted if it hadn't become clear the way he was going to go. So that's a big positive for the Chargers this offseason. They got Jim Harbaugh, incredible track record of success literally everywhere he's been in his coaching tenure, whether it's the NFL or the college landscape. He has won everywhere. You would expect him to do it again sooner or later with the Chargers. And then you get into their personnel moves, which I think generally have been, again, intriguing because they've done a good job backfilling. But, you traded away Keenan Allen. You let Mike Williams hit the open market, which may have been the right moves, but, it's the hole that you created.
So I wonder if, because it's Greg Roman, it's more of a throw a fullback around the formation, multiple tight end type of offense. I like to look at receiving cores as like your top three, and I want to see four, good ones, and that four being a deep threat in particular. Do we have to look at the Chargers receiving core differently and say, okay, you just got to find a top two out of this group? But the group is Quentin Johnston, DJ Chark, who comes in,
right?
Josh Palmer, Ladd McConkey, Brendan Rice. Jerry said he's going to be working him hard as a seventh round.
He's taking over now.
So you got to find two out of those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, DJ Chark and Quentin Johnston, man, if they're your 1-2 and it's like, man, we're gonna make one or two great plays, but just drive you nuts on all the others, that could be tough. That could be difficult there.
I mean, there's
a running game with Greg Roman that has very much relied on a running quarterback, or a quarterback as part of the design run game. You're not going to do that with Justin Herbert. He's athletic, but you're not doing that with Justin Herbert. So you're relying on the offensive line to move people for Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, which is fine as a 1-2 punch. So I'm just interested in the whole culture shift, culture change, and seeing how it all fits together here for the Chargers.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a different dynamic with Harbaugh as the coach there than it is for most other guys. But they're a team. They're one of a few teams that have a lot now invested in these sort of fringe first, early second round wide receivers that need to come in and be their best guy. Like, if Ladd McConkey is not the best Chargers receiver this year, that's probably a bad receiving core. And even if he is, it might be a bad receiving core. That's not great from just a personnel standpoint. It isn't.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how you look at this. Greg Roman has had good offenses without great receivers. And you could say, hey, that's all Lamar Jackson, or that's all the run game with the Ravens. Or you could say, yeah, they're gonna peak, right? They're gonna hit a ceiling just because they don't have those playmakers on the outside that you need. But yeah, I think the coaching change, culture change, and all that stuff has to be factored in here for the Chargers.